What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 66, and we start today's episode off by pursuing Harrison Reed. Now, I've mentioned this name a couple of times now. This is a young Southampton English midfielder who we're looking to sign. Currently with a little bit of money left in the budget, I'm still thinking about making one or possibly two more signings. Harrison Reed could be the one I want. He definitely is the one I really want. And James Ward-Prowse as well from Southampton, also another English young Southampton midfielder with some decent potential. Reed is 76 overall, Ward-Prowse is 75 overall. Don't think I'll be able to get either of them because this year English players seem really overpriced, which in a way is good because that's realistic, but it's also really frustrating because anyone that knows me and has been on this channel long enough knows that when I join a club, I like to sign a lot of players that come from the same nation as the club. So as you can see, my team here with West Brom, yes, we've got some decent young English talent, but not as much as I would like and as much as I'm used to. So I'd like Reed or Ward-Prowse, but I'd imagine that both of those players who come from the same club, Southampton, won't be coming to us because I'd imagine that Southampton and Ronald Koeman will just say, give us 8 or 10 million, which is just absurd, really, when you think you can get much better players for probably the same overall for less value. I mean, Tyder, for example, 76 overall, same as Reed, cost us £5 million. I'd imagine Reed will cost us double that. So, again, in a way, it's good because it's realistic. That's what seems to happen in real life nowadays. English clubs want more for their young English talent, which you can expect and is totally fine, obviously, but it's frustrating that now they've seemed to add that to the game. It means it's very, very hard for me, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, we take on Plymouth Argyle for the first and only game of today's episode in the Capital One Cup. Now, of course, we are the holders of this competition as we won it last year after we managed to get ourselves into the semis, dispatched of our rivals Aston Villa, and then beat Swansea 5-1 in the final. And it's a long road to get to the final, obviously, in the Capital One Cup, and it does start here with this game against Plymouth. And the first couple of chances fell to us, but unfortunately we just couldn't find the back of the net in the opening 2 shots we took. So still scoreless, but a very, very encouraging start for us. And in the 24th minute, as we win the ball back here, Wellington Silva goes down the left-hand side, nice little elastico chop to beat his man, and sprints through the middle here. He rises the slide challenge, wonderful little run by Wellington Silva, quick Ronaldo chop, great ball out wide towards Patrick Roberts, fake shots around Mellor and shoots, but the goalkeeper makes a fantastic save and turns it behind for a corner. So brilliant run by Silva, great shot by Roberts, but an even better save by the goalkeeper. But from the corner, Silva crosses the ball in, and we do indeed take the lead. 26.5 minutes in, it's Danny Ings who gets the goal and makes it Plymouth 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. So I was talking about not having as much English talent as I would like. Ings is of course a very decent young player, but Ings, like a few of my good English youngsters, Abita and Hughes to name just two, just doesn't want to grow. And again, Ings, I know he's not a first team player, but whenever he does play, he does score goals, and the fact he doesn't grow is just so frustrating for me. But still, it's Plymouth 0, West Brom 1, that's the main thing. We take the lead through Danny Ings, and in the 42nd minute we're passing the ball around really nicely here, and as Creswell plays a good through ball out the wide towards Wellington Silva, he cuts inside with a step over, then a fake shot, and smashes the ball in at the near post. I think the goalkeeper will be a little bit disappointed to be beaten from the near post there, but still, it is 2-0 to West Brom. Albion, nice little turn by Silva and a great finish too. And no wonder the team celebrate. It was a really nice passing goal there, and just before the half-time whistle we are 2-0 up. So Plymouth are a League One side on the game, and we fully expect to beat them, obviously, even though we are away from home. But, we still had to do it. And that's what I said in the last 2 episodes against Shamrock Rovers. We fully expected the results, but we still had to go and perform. And that's what we were doing. Plymouth did almost get themselves a goal back before the half-time whistle. And it was Cox, I think it was, who missed an open goal from 10 yards out after Kim Seung-gyu collapsed to the floor there. So still 2-0, and a complete waste for the Football League side, as they could have got themselves back in this tie. And in the second half, we exploited that because Hector Bellerin plays a 1-2 of Claudio Jacob. Our Spanish right back makes it Plymouth 0, West Bromwich Albion 3, and we're on course for the win and going through to the next round as you'd expect. And Hector Bellerin as well, this guy doesn't grow either at 61 overall, even though he doesn't play that many games, so that's fair enough, I guess. But even so, I've had this guy on the transfer list pretty much since day one after signing him and realising he's not actually that good, and no club has ever came in for it. It's unbelievably annoying, but still, it is Plymouth 0, West Bromwich Albion 3. Bellerin gets the goal. Maybe that will spark some interest in him from other clubs, who knows. But But still, Plymouth 0, West Brom 3. But directly from kickoff, Plymouth came forward down the left-hand side here, and as Roberts makes a challenge on Mella, Plymouth win a throw-in, and they take it quickly and give it to Alessandra, who collects the ball and gives it to Mella down this left-hand side. Tries to cross the ball in, it takes a deflection and falls to his man. Lovely cushion header, and Alessandra's shot is brilliantly saved by Kim Seung-yu. Fantastic stop by our South Korean goalkeeper tonight. A fantastic volley there, and it's still 3-0. And in the 61st minute, we go on a counter here. Safir Taider takes on Nelson, beats him for pace and shoots, but he can't make it 2 goals in 2 games for him, as his shot is well saved by the goalkeeper and turned behind for a corner. So still 3-0. And from that corner, we try and pick out Yannick Vestergaard, the big giant who wins the header, but it goes just wide and out for a goal kick. So still 3-0, but really all the chances coming to us. We were very, very, very dominant in this game, and it was a surprise it was still only 3-0 to be honest. But in the 71st minute, Morgan goes down the right hand side for Plymouth, plays it inside towards Blizzard, who whips in across, and Harvey hits the post, and he's quick to react as well. He gets to the rebound of his headed attempt, which hit the post there, wins it back, takes on Hector Bellerin, then Patrick Roberts, ends up putting in a fantastic cross as well, and Alessandra wins the header and puts it into the bottom corner. So Plymouth 1, West Brom 3. The League One side in the game do get themselves a goal back, which is good to see. I suppose they didn't stop fighting, but really it was only going to be a consolation goal because they just didn't have enough class, to be honest, and that's the first goal we conceded this season as well, which is kind of nice. But still, in the 85th minute here, we go on the break. Will Hughes finds Victor Anichebe off the bench, who finds Mbai Niang also off the bench. All 3 of those players actually came off the bench, and the trio link up, and it's Niang who ends up finishing the move and making it Plymouth 1, West Bromwich Albion 4. So 4-1, and we're on course for the easy victory, as we already knew we were, and we're going through to the next round. And yeah, it was indeed all 3 of those players coming off the bench, as you will see in the bottom left there, that combine, link up, and it is Niang who makes it 4-1. And it was how the game finished as well, so very, very easy and routine victory, as we expected, to be honest. But regardless, we had to go out and do it, and most importantly, we had a really good performance. Disappointed to concede the first goal of the season, but that's just how it is. My mistake for sort of switching off, I guess, but still, good result, and we're through to the next round of this competition, which we're going to try and retain. But after that, it was time for transfer deadline day. Deadline day, of course, the day that everyone seems to love on YouTube, because it means there's a possibility of signing new players. But really, as I saw there, Harrison Reed and James Ward-Prowse, both players aren't going to come in because the clubs aren't interested in the players we wanted to swap, and quite frankly we don't have the money to pay the premiums of their fees on their own. You know, the only way we'll be able to sign those players is if they'd accept a swap deal and a part exchange, which they're not going to. But Vitinho, I put in an inquiry for the Brazilian 5-star skiller, and CSKA Moscow said give us 1.7 million and you can take him, and I was like, wow, really? That's unbelievably cheap. And I thought I would try and be a bit stingy, as I always am, and offer £1.3 million. And they said yes. And I was like, wow, okay, fair enough. Could have got this guy for about 200 grand probably. But as you can see, I go ahead and offer him a contract for £1.3 million. What a deal that could be. And Victor Anichebe, otherwise known as the Super Sub, was wanted by Montpellier, the French side. But I don't want to sell him because the clock was running down really quickly. And deadline day, I just don't understand why. But deadline day, seriously, it seems to take ages for me to get deals done sometimes. It really does. Sometimes I can do them really quickly, sometimes it takes ages. And you know, with 7 hours to go, we still hadn't completed the deal of Vitinho, so that's why I didn't really want to sell Anichebe. Dawson isn't going to go out on loan either. I'm going to keep him for cover just in case. But Montpellier did come back in for £6 million for Victor Anichebe, and that's not a bad deal at all. You know, on another day I might have said yes to that offer, but because we only had a couple of hours left, it meant that we wouldn't be able to sign a replacement. And that would mean we're only left with 3 proper strikers in Berahino, Ade, and Danny Ings. So I just said, do you know what? Forget about it. We'll reject it. You know, thanks for the interest, but no, because you know I don't want to leave it and then I don't want to see him go and then not have the time to sign a backup striker. So Anichebe will stay, but Vitinho is into the club for £1.3 million, and as you'll see his stats as well, that's a pretty decent deal. He's valued at £2 million. He's only 22 years old, 73 overall, so clearly got some room to grow. He'll probably turn out to be a flop though, like a lot of the signings I've made, and they just don't seem to want to grow, which I don't understand why. But as you'll see, 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, very, very nice indeed. 700 grand less than his valuation, and I'm happy about that. So, you know, even if he doesn't grow, we've got him for cheaper than we could probably sell him on for, so that's good. But Cardiff wanted Will Hughes. I counter offer for £2 million, but as you'll see, there was only 1 hour left on the clock anyway, so we couldn't sell him or do anything. So there you go. It really meant nothing that bid, but even so, that did indeed end transfer deadline day. So we make one deadline day signing in the name of Vitinho, and I'm happy with that deal, you know. And what we've done as well is we haven't just bought a load of fringe players to stay as backup players for this season. What we've done is we've strengthened the first team quite nicely. Vitinho will be a squad player, but other than that, everyone else is a first team or bench player. We strengthened the squad really, really nicely, and of course, that does mean we're going to have a lot of money to work with in January. Well, I say a lot of money, a decent amount to work with in January, and that means that if we do get out of our Europa League group stage as well, we'll get a few million onto the top of that as well, and we could indeed go for the pre-contract game like we did last year, as that really worked out with the signings of Rodriguez and Carrillo. But that does indeed end the episode. The top deals were Courtois to Barcelona for 51 million, Mata to Bayern Munich for 43 million, and David Silva to Spurs for 28 million. In the next episode, we'll do a squad report and recap the transfer window. So as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, then please do leave a like, because it is much appreciated and it really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.